YouTube, what is shaking and baking? It has been a minute. Been busy with life, busy. Business has been very busy. New atomizers being released has been very busy. School with the kids, bowling, yada yada, you name it. But nonetheless, we're back. We're back. I've got the Fatality 30 here from QP Designs. I also have several others I got to do videos on. I've got a Scotcha 25. I've got the 520 RBA, the Voltrove RBA for Boro stuff. So what we're going to do for now is we're going to knock this guy out. We're going to dive in. We're going to take a look at what's included in the box. We're going to build it. We're going to wick it. And we're going to take it for a ride. So let's dive in. Alrighty. So in our packaging, you've got a little piece of tape here. Run a blade across it. Cut it. Get it out of the way. Inside the box, you've got a cool sticker. Authentication card with a signature on it, a smiley face. You have a pile of extras in this lower slot. You got screws, you have a screwdriver, you have an Allen key. In here, you have different airflow inserts. I'll show you about these in a minute. And you have this tool. This tool comes in handy, and I'll show you in just a minute. So you've got ultim tip, ultim tank section, straight glass, the silicone reducer for the UK, we don't use that, a vape band, and as you can see, I've already put mine in fatty mode because, well, it just looks sweet in fatty mode. So let's talk about this little tool that's in here. So if we come up top here, quarter turn cap, you're going to see these two little index slots. This tool goes in those slots to remove this section off from your chimney. Sorry. So you can swap out your glass. Mine just came apart, so I didn't need it. So let's keep going. To remove the deck, it just unscrews. Nice buttery smooth threading. Honestly, I mean, QP's been around the block for a minute. It's not really surprising that everything is just nice and smooth. So down in the base here, you have this little honeycomb down there. All these little guys in here can be swapped out and go down here. So you have ones that have smaller holes, ones that have larger holes, larger slots, whatever it may be. And to get that out, there's a few different ways you can go about it, but if you can grab it with your fingertip, you can just pull it out. I'm more so about airflow, so let's crack into this. It's got a nice little index on it for ripping it open. Now, eyeballing these, you have two that are straight and two that are honeycomb. The honeycomb are two different sizes, as well as the straights are. I'm going to go with max airflow, which is this straight with the widest slots in it. I'm going to set it over here and take these so I don't misplace them. Very similar to the Violator. Violator came with this same little hardware toolkit thingy, a jig. We're just going to pack that back in there. Might as well just take this. When you slide it in, you just want to make sure there's a little lip. Just slide it in underneath that lip. Cozy side to side. There's no like locked in type thing you're going for. Well, I guess there is. It kind of made a little click. So see if we can capture that sound. No, may have been a one-time deal there. But that's it. Slap in the larger airflow slot. We're going to put this and this back in the box. Close that up. So the deck on here actually looks substantially larger than the M28 and the M25, because if you remember, those two were very similar in size. I'd also like to point out that the airflow coming up, you actually have side airflow here, and then you have your center airflow. So the air that's going to come in from the side obviously is going to be going at this direction. Airflow from the center coming straight up. So should be an absolute flavor monster. I can see a single coil fitting in here with ease, or dual 4mm. Proper series build is going to fit just fine between these post holes. So let's get it built. Alrighty, coils installed, balanced, firing evenly, looking fantastic. So specs, coils. We did 4mm inner diameter, 2940 5 core, and we did 4mm on the legs. So we got them angled in, we're catching side airflow. This should be on point. Now I put the chimney back on and I checked my resistance again to make sure that it cleared. We're all set there. I would say we are ready for some cotton and some juice and taking it for a ride. So, I've seen some people go absolutely insane with the size of their builds and put the build way over here on the edge. I mean, if it works for you, run it. That's fine. But when I'm looking at the juice ports themselves, I'm going to be honest. I originally thought that this deck was larger than 28, but I don't really think it is. I don't really think it is. I just think that it's a larger tank in diameter, and this part stayed almost the same with the adaptation of the airflow insert. Could be wrong, wouldn't be the first time, but I don't think so. These 4mm coils look, I mean, they look absolutely butter on there. Absolutely perfect. So, let's get to wicking. 4mm, it's going to be about 1/4 inch of cotton. Always wash your hands when you're wicking your stuff. Nice clean hands. Honestly, wash your hands before you build and wash your hands before you wick. It's always a good practice to have. Some oils from your hands can get on your coils and cause hot spots. And then those same oils from your hands can get on your cotton and end up having a really odd taste. So 1/4 mil strips, right? Slightly wider than 3.5mm coils, but only by a skosh. Make sure your build's cooled down. It's kind of a given. You can run cotton through them while they're still kind of warm, just not hot enough to burn yourself or catch your cotton on fire. That'd be bad, okay? twist game. Perfect resistance through the coils. Nothing too crazy. All right, so what I used to do with the old Fatality is I would float the wicks in here. I wouldn't put them all the way to the bottom. I would float them. And if I take a look real quick, this you may actually be able to run down. So the old Fatality, when you probed the juice well here, wasn't nearly as deep. Typically when you have a juice well that runs like 1 to 2 mils past the wick port, that means you can pretty much cut flush with that wick port and still run great. When your well ends basically at the bottom of that wick port, you want to float them, just so you have a little room underneath the cotton. So all we're going to do is we're going to lay our skizzers against the juice port. We're going to try our best to do basically a 90-degree cut. Cutting both legs at once. Boom, boom. Okay. Check our length. See how it falls right perfectly with the threads, basically. We didn't cut down here, we cut up here on top of those threads. Okay, when in doubt, fluff it out. Fluff game on point. Okay, I'm going to try and put this in there without nipping off the corners, but I will say that the juice well is not quite as wide as the build deck. It's a little narrower. Usually when that happens, I'll snip the corners, but I'm going to get it all in here and just kind of see how it feels. Doesn't feel too packed in there. Feels just right. And you'll see on our window that there's that little bit of space underneath the cotton for juice to kind of set there. That's going to keep your cotton saturated at all times. It's not going to leak. It's going to be perfect. I'm going to say with this atomizer, I don't think I would go smaller than 3.5 millimeter. Given that we're putting 4 millimeter wicks in there and it's not terribly snug. We didn't fluff any, or I mean we didn't remove any. Putting all of it in there, so I don't know if you'd be able to get that much cotton in it if you ran 3 millimeter ID, is what I'm getting at. Not saying it's not possible, just saying it might be a little bit more work. Okay. Other side's perfect. We're wicked up, ready to get juiced up, ready to go for a ride. For juice, we are going to be running some lemon pie from Mini Chef. Really, really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Everybody's got their own way of doing this. I tend to drip on the coils as much as possible, and then every once in a while just tap the fire button, and you can watch the juice just soak right into the coil. And from the coil, obviously, it's soaking into the cotton, so I find that if I sit there and try and drip on this, it just seems to take forever. And oftentimes, I don't have time to sit there and have it take forever. So we just go this way. Okay. So, on this tank, it has juice flow control. So you can see that that little juice window is closed. When you rotate the tank, obviously it opens. And it closes in two different directions. Either way is closed, and then right in the middle is open. So, obviously to fill it, you close it. When you're confident on your wick game, you don't have to fill it. You send it. Pop her top on. Okay. Give her a twist. Cotton's well saturated, so I'd say it's time to take it up top. All right, back up top. M30 Fatality 30 millimeter. 30 millimeter. Man. My gosh. The flavor off of this thing. Is just insane. Wicking bubbles. Pew, 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 pew. So, I mean, to be honest, I didn't have any less expectations for the 30, given how fantastic the 28 was. Airflow, there's a pile of it. I find it to be much cleaner than the 28 was. The 28 was kind of wispy. This is not wispy at all. It vapes almost as smooth as like a sub-ohm tank, to be honest. And that's running everything wide open. Wide open in airflow and the largest airflow reducer inside. And we're only sitting at 120 watts. Build came in at 0.14. That is just fantastic. That is fantastic. Let's bump it up to 160. Wow. Okay. This one's probably going to be hanging out with me for a little while. That is so good. Okay, so Fatality M30. final thoughts and impressions. It had big shoes to fill, in my opinion, to the 28. The 28 was the only tank I had ever seen, other than a Scotchua, resell used at brand new price. Usually with a lot of atomizers, aside from the Boro stuff, anything that's used is typically 15 to 20 bucks less when it's used. These would sell 8 days a week. Well, the 28 would sell 8 days a week at retail. Used, partial box with missing tank sections. People didn't care. They wanted the tank. It was that good. This for me is right there, except it's even better. It's better, and I think it's because of the changes that were made to the airflow. It's not wispy at all. It is just smooth as silk. Application wise, this has more than enough airflow to be run on series, to be run on NLPWM or PWM, PWM1. There's plenty of airflow for that. So if you have an A3K, or you have a GXL, or you have an MC M4 or an MC Mini, anything that flushes a 30 and looks good on it, it's gonna run it. For me, I don't have a whole lot of DNA builds, so I wanted to do a DNA build on this. If you come right onto it airflow wise, that's just insane. That's just insane. I don't even know if I want to try this, but let's close off the top airflow half and see if that changes how it vapes. A little warmer, but still smooth. I recall on the 28, when you started playing with the airflow, it increased the turbulence in the tank substantially. With this, it doesn't. It just stays smooth. It's just slightly restricted. That being said, if it's on your list, if it's on your maybe list, and you kind of are waiting for somebody, I don't know, like me to review it, I would get it. I would absolutely scoop one. This one in particular came from Mike Hurley, vapinDelights.com. Super awesome dude to do business with. He always has a pile of new cool shit, and ships rocket fast, so I know he's got them. So check it out, or if you can find it elsewhere, whatever. If it's on your list and you want it, get it. That's all, people. Remember, if you liked the video, hit the like button. If you're not subbed, let's get subbed. Why not? I'm going to be coming out with some more videos, some Boro stuff in the next few. Like I said, I've got the Scotchua 25 I'm going to do a build on. We're going to talk about it. And I think that's about it for right now. Okay. Peace out, Girl Scouties.